Stanley Turner turned the steering wheel and pulled his 1979 Chevy Nova onto Harding Drive. The address he was heading towards seemed familiar, but he couldn't quite place it. He drove slowly, trying to make out the numbers on each home as he passed. Finally, he spotted the house he was looking for, 34 Harding Drive. "Oh no, not this house," the troubled young man thought to himself. He had suddenly realized why the address had been so familiar. He parked the car and allowed for a few moments to compose himself. Scanning the driveway, he noticed there were no motorcycles parked out front. Perhaps he would luck out after all. He looked at his reflection in the rearview mirror. "You can do this. You've been trained for this kind of thing," he thought. He wiped his sweating palms on his shirt and took a few deep breaths. He was just doing what he was paid to do, nothing more. Just stay focused on the job, right? "This job's going to kill me." Stanley Turner unfastened his seatbelt with a shaking hand. It was time to perform the job. He grabbed the box of pizza and made his way towards the Grimwold residence. "Pizza!" Pinkie squealed after hearing several knocks at the door. She began giggling uncontrollably. "Hey, man, I told you about that," Harvey glared. "Sorry," Pinkie said through her giggles. She took a deep breath and tried to remain calm. Harvey grabbed his motorcycle helmet and carefully put it on again, tucking Pinkie the Beard into his leather jacket once more. He zipped it to the neck, checked the mirror again, and answered the door. "Oh, Jesus!" Stanley Turner blurted at the sight of Harvey as the door swung open. This was it. His short life was already over. Harvey slowly held out a hand and waited. Stanley's eyes darted around looking for an escape of some kind. They locked onto the coffee table. "Oh, God, he's so angry about the pizza that he broke his table in half," he thought with despair. He looked back up into the dark visor of the helmet. "Here's your pizza," he said a little too loudly. "It's really hot and probably perfect in every way possible. In fact, your next pizza is free." Harvey stood motionless, waiting. Stanley's eyes began to glisten. So you have nothing to worry about, and no, God, please don't kill me," he pleaded, falling to his knees and sobbing. The biker grabbed the pizza box from the delivery man and slammed the door shut. Muffled sobs could be heard through the door. He walked over to the sofa, sat down, then eyed the coffee table with annoyance. He stood back up and walked to the kitchen, retrieved a chair, and returned to the sofa. Sitting down, he used the chair as a temporary table and set the pizza down on it. Harvey Grimwold's jacket unzipped, and a frantic Pinkie Pie swung merrily back and forth on the biker's chin as she began to sing. "Oh, my name is Pinkie Pie, and I suddenly appeared on a big old meanie's face as a big pink pony beard. I thought that he would starve me, yes, that is what I feared. But then the pizza guy arrived, and I danced and sang and cheered, yeah!" Harvey closed his eyes in frustration. "Shut up and eat," he growled. "Yes, sir," she complied. She held her hooves out to retrieve the hot, delicious-looking pizza slice that the biker was about to hand to her. Just then, there came another knock on the door. Harvey tossed the pizza slice back into the box. Pinkie watched him close the pizza box with eyes that began to fill with tears while the biker quickly retrieved his helmet again and began to put it on. "No!" Pinkie screamed. "I can't take it any longer! I need that pizza now!" She was hyperventilating. "Quiet!" Harvey scolded in a whisper. "Never!" The biker sighed and pulled the helmet on, then zipped his jacket up as far as possible before reaching into it and placing a finger in Pinkie's mouth. She struggled but was effectively gagged. Stanley Turner was looking down at the 3 pizza boxes he was carrying when the door opened. "Hi there, Mr. Grimwold. I'm sorry I acted like that a few minutes ago. I just came to give you these pizzas as an apology for my behavior," he said as he finally looked up. His eyes fell upon the hand that was reaching into the leather jacket. "He's pulling a gun on me," Stanley thought with terror. He emitted a high-pitched, whining scream as he dropped the pizzas, turned on his heels, and fled. He fell down the porch stairs, but was back on his feet within seconds. The young man jumped over the hood of his 1979 Chevy Nova, collapsing to the pavement on the other side. Within moments, he was in his car and screeching away from 34 Harding Drive, clipping the truck that was parked in front of him along the way. Harvey watched as the Nova screeched around the corner and disappeared. He then removed his finger from Pinkie's mouth, scooped up the remarkably unharmed pizza boxes, and closed the door. He returned to the sofa, tossed the extra pizzas onto the floor, and gave Pinkie her long-awaited pizza slice. She grabbed it in all 4 hooves and took a giant bite. "Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff," she said happily. She finished the slice in 2 more large bites. Harvey wondered how she could fit it all in her stomach. The biker and his beard thing ate happily, and were able to relax for the first time since meeting each other. Jerry Burnside slowly opened his eyes. He looked around, then squinted in pain. His jaw felt awful. What happened today? He couldn't remember. He tried to move a hand to his jaw, but his hand seemed to be tied to bedposts. "Not again," he mused quietly to himself. A pleasant smell caressed his nose. He knew that smell. That right there was the smell of a meat giant from Gongo's Pizza. 16 inches in diameter with a base of barbecue sauce and mozzarella cheese. It would be filled to overflowing with ham, beef, bacon, chicken, sausage, pepperoni, salami, and mini meatballs. It was then topped with an extra layer of cheese and a swirl of mayonnaise. It was his favorite, and there was one nearby. He looked over at the bedside table. There it is. There was a can of beer right next to it. Suddenly, the bedroom door opened and Harvey Grimwald entered the room. He was wearing his old motorcycle helmet from when he'd first begun riding, as well as his Angel's jacket. The jacket was ludicrously zipped all the way up to his neck. Man, what's this all about, he thought. Harvey came over and sat down on the edge of the bed. He held a note in front of Jerry's eyes. Jerry, you got drunk and were violent, so I had to tie you up, brother. That's not important, though. You see that pizza and beer? If you want it, you need to promise me you'll never talk about what I'm going to show you. I swear, man, I'll have to off you if this gets out to anyone. Now choose, the pizza or your life. Jerry winced as Harvey reached over and ripped the duct tape from his mouth. Ow, man, my mustache, he complained. Harvey pointed at the note. Hell, man, that's about the easiest thing I've ever had to decide. I'll take the pizza and beer. Harvey grabbed the pizza box and tossed it onto Jerry's chest. He opened it up, took a slice out, and held it before Jerry's face. He pulled the slice back when Jerry tried to take a bite. Jerry sighed. Yeah, man, I'm not going to talk about whatever it is you want to show me. This isn't about the time we were in Sturgis and I knocked you right over, is it? I just can't handle a whole bottle of Jack, man. I can't help it. I just get to drinking and... Harvey held up a finger to silence him, then allowed Jerry to bite the pizza. Oh, man, that's the best, Jerry said after he swallowed. No better pizza than a meat giant. Harvey took a deep breath and then quickly took the helmet off. He unzipped his jacket, and just as Jerry was thinking maybe he should have chosen to die after all, a pink ball of hair emerged from beneath it. Hi, I'm Pinkie. You and I are going to be best friends. Harvey's beard, which was now pink and had a body, said with a smile. Jerry Burnside's eyes rolled to the back of his head for the second time that day as he fell back to the bed unconscious. So you really don't know how to bake a cake? What do? Just go buy them from the bakery? A high-pitched female voice said. No, man, I don't eat cake. I prefer pie. Hoo-ha! Said a voice that belonged to Harvey Grimwald. Did he have some new girlfriend over? What? How's that even possible? Every pony, and I mean every pony, eats cake. It's one of the major food groups. The female voice gasped. Did she just say pony? Jerry Burnside thought as he began to open his eyes. No, look, he's waking up, the female said with a fit of giggles. Stop wiggling, man. We might need to knock him out again, Harvey said, then noticed Jerry's eyes were open. Oh, hey, man. We were just talking about you. Jerry's eyes fell upon Pinkie. Hi there, I'm Pinkie Pie. Now, if you could please stop passing out, we might just become the best of friends. Wouldn't that just be the greatest? The beard thing said to Jerry as it seemed to dance some kind of jig in midair. Jerry suddenly remembered something very important about the series of events that had occurred before he passed out. Something about either being silent about the beard thing or dying at the hands of his friend. There was also a meat giant involved if he cooperated. His face contorted into a smile, and he extended his hands toward Pinkie Pie. It's such an honor to meet you, Pinkie Pie, Jerry said loudly as Pinkie extended a hoof. My name is Jerry Burnside, and I think we are going to be the best friends ever. His smile seemed far too wide, and sweat dripped off his forehead and ran down the end of his nose. His eyes moved up to meet Harvey's. Harvey's eyes never blinked. Jerry swallowed hard. So you're a pony. That's just great. Best thing ever, man. Talking pony beard. Yeah, that has to be about the greatest thing to ever happen. His right eye twitched slightly. Isn't it, though? Say, you're a lot nicer than Mr. Meanie Grumpy Pants here. Why couldn't I have been magically grafted to your face? Then we could party and eat cake all day long, the beard thing said while somehow managing to throw confetti into the air. Harvey sneezed. Yeah, cake. Definitely cake, Jerry muttered. So, Harvey, when did your beard turn into a pink pony that parties? This morning. I was about to brush my teeth and I saw it in the mirror, Harvey grumbled. Her, Pinkie corrected. Not it. Whatever. So do you have a plan to get rid of it? Jerry asked. Her, Pinkie growled. She gave him her best frowny face. I don't know, man. I haven't thought of anything good, Harvey responded. You could always shave me off, the beard thing sang sweetly. Jerry let out a loud guffaw. Pinkie, we're hell's angels, he chuckled. That just isn't going to happen. Pinkie let out a long sigh. This is getting boring. I haven't had sugar or a party in almost an entire day. She climbed up onto Harvey's face. I want a cake. No, I need a cake. You will bring me a cake or else, Pinkie threatened, glaring up at the biker. Harvey, man, if you untie my legs, I can go get a cake, Jerry said helpfully. Harvey eyed a dirty pair of underwear that had been tossed into a corner of the bedroom and thought carefully. He began to stroke his beard. Hey, you cut that out right this instant, Pinkie gasped in outrage. Sorry, man, Harvey mumbled idly. He continued to stare at the underwear, lost in thought. Harvey? Jerry asked. We'll both go out, Harvey said finally. We'll get the pony her cake, and we'll go get my genie back. Harvey? Jerry began. Do you really need my help to pick Jeannie up from the garage? No, man, she's not at the garage. Tony's got her. We gotta go get her back. Tony? Tony Loreto? Jerry asked in astonishment. How did that bag of scum get his paws on Jeannie? Harvey sighed. Well, it all began when I was at the Barking Spider. Alone, he admitted. Jerry's eyes grew wide with horror. He listened with keen interest as Harvey told the entire truth of how he had ended up in his current situation. Tony Loreto continued to thrust his crotch at the custom 1951 Harley-Davidson panhead. He alternated between having his left hand on his lower back and his right hand pumping up and down in the air, and vice versa. He looked at his fellow Vagos gang members and laughed hysterically. I think she likes it, boys. What do you think? He asked the gathered crowd. He was answered by a chorus of cheers and laughter. Some of the gathered Vagos clapped or stomped their feet, while others knocked beer cans together in celebration. The party in the warehouse had been going on for hours, and many of the gathered were thoroughly inebriated. Tony got on his knees and crawled in what he hoped was a good imitation of a cat towards the bike. He took 2 fingers and gently caressed the underside of the exhaust. Shouts of encouragement rang out from the crowd. He made a show of licking his fingers. Meow, he cried to a renewed outburst of cheers. Downey has been avenged, boys. We got Harvey Grimwald's little lady, and we're going to treat her real nice. He almost began giggling as he finished his sentence. Leo Odom chose that moment to emerge from the crowd, his hands moving to unzip his tight jeans. I'm going to piss on her, he yelled as his 374-pound form rushed toward the bike. Tony jumped to his feet and moved quickly to intercept the drunken giant. He removed a switchblade from his pocket, flicked the release, and held it up to the soft folds of Leo's many chins. Leo's hand stopped with his fly slipped halfway down. You won't touch her, he whispered dangerously. She is mine to defile, and mine alone. Now turn your enormous ass around before I make it so you pee sitting down. Leo stood swaying for a moment, trying to process what had just happened. Tony rolled his eyes. Ricky! Gabriel! Get him out of here before he wets the floor! 2 men quickly emerged from the crowd, grabbed Leo's beefy arms, and led him towards the bathroom. The others in the room were completely silent. Tony looked at his mates. Did I say the party was over yet? He called out. He placed both hands up behind his head and began thrusting his crotch towards the custom 1951 Harley-Davidson panhead once again. Yeah, baby! Tell me you like it spicy! Tell me you like the habanero! Harvey and Jerry stepped outside of 34 Harding Drive and walked down the porch steps into the warm evening air. Harvey had left his helmet at home and chose instead to wear a bandana around his face. It helped Pinkie to breathe easier and wasn't as hot as wearing the helmet all the time. They walked silently for some time before Jerry spoke. So you like cake, Pinkie? What else do ponies from Ponyville eat? Shut up, man. You can't talk to her out here, Harvey whispered harshly. Come on, there's nobody out here. I just want to know. She's kind of cute, you know. Harvey's eyes grew dangerously wide as he grabbed Jerry by his collar. Don't you ever call my beard cute again. You hear me, brother? No, I mean, yes, I hear you. I'm not calling you or your beard cute. No disrespect, man. I'm just calling the pony cute, Jerry stammered. The pony is my beard, you idiot, Harvey snarled. Sorry, man, Jerry mumbled. Stop bickering like 2 old mares and let's get going. There is cake to be had, Pinkie called from underneath the bandana. Damn it, Pinkie, I told you not to talk, man. What do you think people are going to do if they hear my beard talking? Harvey asked. Well, you know, a beard can't talk if its mouth is full of cake. I mean, duh, Pinkie replied. She's got a point there, man, Jerry began. Shut up, Jerry, Harvey scolded. I like you, Jerry. You know how to treat a pony right, Pinkie remarked. Cake and pizza? Yeah, I could handle that. Shut up, Jerry. You too, Pinkie. They were coming upon an old woman pushing a walker down the sidewalk. A grocery bag dangled from one hand as she slowly crept towards them. They were about to move around her when she held out a hand to stop them. Excuse me, gentlemen. Can you tell me how to get to Stop and Shop from here? I need to get something before they close, but I haven't the slightest idea where to go from here, the elderly woman asked with a smile. No. Ow! Harvey yelped as his beard tugged sharply. It's up the road a bit. Then you turn right and keep going until you see the gas station. Cross the road and head left and it's right there. Can't miss it. Oh, thank you. You two nice gentlemen have a lovely evening, the lady said warmly and began to shuffle down the street. You're welcome, Pinkie called from beneath the bandana. Harvey grabbed Jerry by the collar and quickly jogged up the road away from the old woman. When they stopped, they turned around and saw the lady staring after them. After a few moments, she turned around and slowly shuffled away, shaking her head as she went. Sorry, Pinkie whispered. Harvey and Jerry looked at one another for a few moments, then continued on towards the bakery. Harvey wondered just how sorry he was going to be for choosing to go outside. He would find out soon enough. The 1979 Chevy Nova pulled into a parking spot outside the warehouse. Stanley Turner put the car into park and turned off the ignition with a slightly trembling hand. He viewed his reflection in the rearview mirror and held his own gaze. The mission was about to come to a permanent conclusion. 6 months of delivering pizzas at Gongo's would end this night with one final delivery. He thought back to his manager's reactions as he had attempted to explain 3 missing pizzas and front fender damage to the company car. He had been rewarded by being given the strangest delivery order yet. 20 pizzas were to be delivered to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. He had also been told that tonight would be his final night of service for Gongo's Pizza. Stanley could have refused the delivery. He had been terminated, after all. What else could they do to him? But no, Stanley Turner was a warrior. He always completed the mission regardless of the dangers. He stepped out of the car and began doing stretches. He may have to run again, after all. Once he had finished, he leaned into the car and grabbed half the pizzas. He kicked the door shut and slowly made his way toward the warehouse at the end of his career. Squeals of delight came from beneath Harvey's bandana as he and Jerry arrived at Cotter's Cakes. Pinkie struggled to contain herself, but she was reaching critical levels of excitement. Her body was shaking and short bursts of giggles continuously escaped from her mouth. Harvey and Jerry looked at each other with concerned expressions on their faces. We can't go in there with her like this, man, Harvey growled. I'm telling you, I should just knock her out, he whispered. I heard that, Baldy. Anytime you want a piece of the pie, just come step to this, Pinkie threatened. Oops, it's happening again. You can't knock her out, man. It's not her fault that ponies eat cake, Jerry pleaded. Ponies do not eat cake, Harvey yelled, attracting a few stares from passersby. They quickly looked away as his glare turned in their direction. This one does, and so do her friends. Come on, man, there has to be a better way, Jerry said quietly. Harvey's eyes examined a dying roach on the sidewalk. It had flipped onto its back and occasionally twitched a leg or two. A small group of ants had begun to surround the unfortunate insect. Harvey? Jerry asked. I have an idea, Harvey said. He fished a $50 bill out of his wallet and handed it to Jerry. Go get some vodka. What? I thought we were getting cake, man. And I'm not sure about vodka and cake. Harvey stared at his friend until he grew quiet. Jerry nodded quickly and left for a nearby liquor store. What's vodka? Pinkie asked. Stanley Turner waited patiently outside the warehouse door. He was prepared to run at any given notice and had already planned out his escape route if it was needed. He could not help but notice the many motorcycles parked outside the warehouse as he neared the door and was ready for anything. A man opened the door wearing only a pair of briefs with the image of a chili on the groin. Well, he had been prepared for almost anything. Pizza's here, boys! Tony Loreto yelled over his shoulder and began laughing hysterically. He put an arm around Stanley's shoulders and pulled him in close to whisper in his ear. We've got Harvey's girl and she loves the habanero, he said to the pizza delivery man and laughed again. Stanley could smell alcohol in this man's breath. Yeah, that's amazing, Stanley stammered. Here's half the pizzas, the others are in the cart. Where should I set these? In your ass! Tony screamed with a look of hatred. Stanley squirmed and nearly dropped the pizzas. But Tony leaned in close again and whispered, That was a joke, brother. How could you expect us to eat pizza that had been treated in such a way? You are crazy, my friend. Stanley felt himself being drawn inside the warehouse and realized with horror that his chances of escape had disappeared. He was led through a small crowd of bikers dressed in leather adorned with green logos. In the middle of the crowd was a motorcycle that looked vaguely familiar. Ricky! Gabriel! Come take these pieces from our new friend! I want to show him how dirty Jeannie is! Tony ordered. His men rushed forward and took the pizzas, then returned to the crowd to disperse the slices amongst the hungry bikers. Wow. Look how dirty Jeannie is. So, there are 10 more pizzas in the car. If I could just go and get them, Stanley said as he tried to squirm loose from Tony's grip. The pizza is not important, my good pizza delivery man. What's important is this, Tony said. He walked to the front of the bike and began thrusting his crotch at it. Isn't she filthy? She loves this! Stanley stared at the scene with a morbid sense of fascination. Are all bikers this crazy? He thought. Come over here, pizza boy! You too can show my boys how nasty Jeannie is, Tony called out. Oh, me? Gee, what an honor, Stanley said, and weakly pushed his hips in the bike's direction. She's so nasty. Tony laughed hysterically, followed by the other Vagos gang members. He walked over to Stanley and suddenly pulled out a switchblade and held it to the young man's throat. Now go get me my other pizzas before I unleash my inner furies upon your pathetic manhood, he threatened. Stanley Turner screamed in terror and fled from the crazy half-naked gang leader. He pushed past 2 drunken gang members and ran out of the warehouse at full speed, leaping into the open driver's side window of the Chevy Nova and landing awkwardly, half in and half out of the car. He crawled the rest of the way inside, repositioned himself into the driver's seat, turned the ignition, shifted into drive, and sped out of the parking lot as fast as he could. Back in the warehouse, an enraged and drunken Tony Loreto pulled on a pair of pants and sat upon Jeannie. He revved the engine. Nobody cheats the Vagos out of their pizza! He screamed. Drunken cheers arose as the other members rushed outside to their bikes. Soon, dozens of bikes roared out of the warehouse parking lot. The hunt for Stanley Turner was on. Okay, now pour the sugar in. Lots of it, Harvey Grimwald instructed. He and Jerry were in a dark alley behind Connor's Cakes. Jerry was busily preparing a drink in a small shot glass, while Pinkie watched from beneath the bandana. She had been instructed to hide if anyone were to appear at either end of the alley, but they were alone for the time being. Jerry finished pouring the sweet white crystals into the drink. He held the glass out to Pinkie. Okay, here you go. A nice big glass of sweetness, Jerry said with a grin. Pinkie examined the liquid thoughtfully. And why am I drinking this? She asked again. It's just to prepare your stomach for the enormous amounts of cake you're about to eat, man. You don't want to get a bellyache, do you? Harvey lied. Okay, then, Pinkie grinned. She grabbed the glass and downed it with a single gulp. Hey, this stuff is good! More, please, she said, holding out the shot glass and wiggling it. Jerry's jaw went slack. He looked to Harvey, who raised his eyebrows. That much vodka and that small of a body should have knocked her out for sure, Jerry thought. Yeah, no problem. Give her some more, Jerry, Harvey ordered. Shaking his head slowly, Jerry took the shot glass and prepared another drink. Pinkie was humming impatiently as he finally handed the glass back. Here's to the best of friends! She giggled and downed the drink in another gulp. She held out the glass for more. Do it, Jerry, Harvey said. I don't know, man, Jerry whispered. Do it, Jerry! Pinkie yelled. Another glass was poured and consumed. Then another. Dude, we've just given a fifth of vodka to a little pony. I think we should stop, Jerry pleaded. As much as it takes, Jerry, Harvey growled. She just has a fast metabolism. Yeah, just listen to Harvey, Pinkie said. In fact, why don't you just hand the bottle over? She held out her hooves. No way, Jerry shook his head. We need her knocked out, man. Hand the bottle over, Harvey shouted. Yeah, knock me out, Jerry. Send me to the moon. Pinkie swayed beneath Harvey's chin. Still shaking his head, Jerry handed the bottle of vodka over to Pinkie. He marveled at how she could lift it, then gasped as she tilted her head back and consumed the entire bottle within seconds. I'm going to hell for this, Jerry mumbled. Oh, yeah, Pinkie shouted. She then hefted the empty bottle up and swung it full force into Harvey's chin. The bottle shattered as it connected, and Harvey Grimwald's eyes rolled to the back of his head as he fell unconscious to the ground. Holy crap! Jerry gasped as his eyes bulged at the scene unfolding before him. Pinkie picked up a broken shard of glass in her mouth and began to giggle uncontrollably. Pinkie, what are you doing? Don't! Jerry moved forward, but it was too late. The pink pony slashed upwards with the glass shard, and it had found its mark. She gave another giggle and dropped the glass to the ground. She then hopped forward and jumped off Harvey's chest and onto the ground. I'm free! She beamed. She jumped into the air and with an audible pop grew in size to be roughly as tall as Jerry's waist. The former beard bounced over to Jerry, gave his hand a nuzzle, and then bounced away towards the end of the alley. Hey, you can't go! You'll be seen! And I think you might be drunk! Jerry shouted after Pinkie. Just then, Harvey groaned. Oh, my face! He mumbled, reaching up to his chin. He immediately noticed something was missing. My beard! Where's my beard? He yelled frantically. Harvey, you need to get up. Your beard is drunk and loose in the city, Jerry said gravely. Woo, woo, woo! Came a voice from the end of the alley. Time for cake! The sound of a window breaking soon followed. Jerry helped Harvey to his feet. They had to get Pinkie before chaos reigned through the night.